All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I have Matt here with me. Tanner is here also. Chris is not here today, but we'll end up talking bad about him, I'm sure, at some point. First, we want to thank everybody for listening. We have a lot of fun with this. We kind of do it, hopefully, like we say, we want to educate and entertain everybody. But, if you like it, subscribe, download on all audio platforms, YouTube, Rumble. We'd appreciate it. Helps us out so we know what's good, what's bad, what not to talk about, which we'll probably still talk about anyway. But, and even if you don't like us, you should still subscribe.
Yeah.
Like his hate.
You're right.
Yeah.
The hate subscribe?
Yeah, because then if you hate subscribe, you can just talk shit to us on there then.
Well, and you should definitely share it if you don't like us and talk shit to us.
Yeah.
Online.
Make a ton of comments about how much you don't like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what I wanted to do is if you listen to us and if you screenshot you're listening and you share it, tag us and tag another friend, free shirts. A free shirt. We'll do a random drawing.
Whoa, an S on the end of that?
Yeah. No, you know what? We'll do 2 free shirts. We'll do a random drawing of all the people that do it. But if you tag us on, share your screenshot of listening to us, whatever you're on, and tag us and a friend on Instagram, and make sure you follow us, and we'll give out a couple free shirts.
Sounds good.
Sound good with you guys?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. So we're gonna do some Q&A stuff, and we're gonna talk about the Shaw Classic that just went on this past week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Q&A, we had a question of who is the strongest host/co-host, squat, bench, deadlift, and pull-up, I believe. I can double check.
Overhead
here,
press?
Overhead press, yeah. So it's squat, deadlift, overhead press, and pull-up. Chris isn't here, but he works out at home, supposedly. But he's probably the best at pull-ups.
I would assume.
Because he's small.
Because he's tiny.
Yeah,
I bet
got the leg
300-pound Chris wasn't near as good at pull-ups.
We should do that. Bring him in, get a weight vest, just start strapping weight to him.
And see where he fails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what makes him give up.
Wait till he gets to an adult man weight and then ask him to do it.
I mean, technically all of us are, maybe better at pull-ups if we can do one because we weigh more.
Yeah. Yeah, we're probably super strong at them. It's just
Right.
we're just not doing it.
And we're only doing a few.
Yeah. So I would say the strongest overhead presser, it's probably Tanner.
Yeah.
That's all he trains, literally. His squat is trash. He deadlifts from 18 inches, and that's it.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Getting to the ground's a long ways, man. Those knees do not bend like they used to.
Yeah, no, it's not the same. Bench, Matt's probably the best bencher.
Unbroken me. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, if you haven't just recently flipped your 4-wheeler and it rolled over on you,
Right.
Where do you think your bench would be?
Right now, it's a struggle just to get up.
But no, you were what, a
430 something.
Because I think I did a 435.
Yeah.
I had 425 and I did get buried under 445.
Yeah, I said we put the video up
Yeah.
of him getting crushed, and then we just text
are
him
we
constantly.
talking gym stuff, just what we've done?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
There's so many trash lifts in a meet now. There's so many good gym
Yeah.
lifts. I'll take over it.
Then 445 is the best I've done here.
So 445, 435, 425.
Oh, you're fucking last.
I am last.
Now, Chris, I bet you can beat Chris.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
that's
beat-
true.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
think Chris is going to
get
win.
your ass here.
If you can't defend yourself, you're automatically the fucking loser.
Yeah. Well, what was that day when I came and trained bench with Mike one morning, and he was supposed to do a heavy single, right? Not a max effort single, but a heavy single. And he was, what was he terrified of? 135 pounds or something? What? Something. Three something.
I think it was 325 or
Yeah.
335. He was super nervous about it.
Yeah, he was just terrified. I was like, man, just.
Because you benched, didn't you go 4 plates?
Mm-hmm.
But you also would black out while you were benching.
That's incline. Anything over 185, and I black out. I don't know.
Like, do you still make the lift?
No, if it's not fast enough.
Okay. So you have like a time limit?
Yeah.
Like
There's
I got 2 seconds.
yeah.
Brett, I had Brett spot me the other day it was his favorite spot he's ever done. I had to do
It's so fucking stupid. I mean, I like Clint, but it was really stupid.
like a 12-second decline or 12-second descent on the incline. And Brett's like, that was the most boring thing I've ever done.
12 seconds.
12 seconds.
Is
How do
Brett
you even
behind
come
you?
up
And
with
he's
12?
like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
No, I was counting.
Just start singing Kane Brown like that. 1 Mississippi. How do you even come up with 12?
Well, it was 12, 10, 8, 4 over 4 weeks.
Oh. Wow, that's a lot of energy expenditure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask him why.
I mean, I remember when you used to do negatives in high school, and you do like way more weight than you could, and then
Yeah.
have your buddy lift it off of you.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it was like Dorian's thing, right? Like he trained like the full range as much as he could, and then he would someone would help him with the lift.
Yeah, do the forced reps.
Yeah, do the forced reps, and then he would end with like someone would literally lift it up to the top, and he would just try to lower it as slowly as he could.
I'm guessing there's a rhyme or reason behind it. When I'm following a program, I just shut up and listen.
That's good because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I mean, statistically, you can lower 50% more than you can raise.
Well, I can lower a lot.
I can lower
more
the
than
shit out of stuff. I will fucking
I mean, you
lower.
put 1,000 pounds on there, I'll lower that bitch real
Like
quick.
controlled lowering or just lowering?
I just like,
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'll lower anything.
because then I'm like a 1,200 pound lower.
That's not true. Your spine would give out. I mean, your specific spine.
No,
Best deadlifter. That's a tough one. It's not Matt. But,
No
Chris
more.
is still the worst, I bet.
yeah, I'd still be Chris. I'd like to think that even right now the busted ribs help or do not help, but I'd imagine like I could still pull 5.5. Like,
I feel like I'm good for at least 6 on most days.
yeah,
I'm
Most
in a
days that I
certain
care
range.
about.
Yeah.
And It's
Yeah.
just hard for me to care sometimes.
Yeah, deadlifting is like 18-inch deadlifts I can do. I like those.
oh, those are great.
Those
Yeah,
are great.
rack
Yeah.
pulls.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do those. But like this my new cycle, I'm on the ground and I'm just like, it is so far. Like, I don't like it.
It's like deficits.
Like the other day, it's like my ass, like I didn't even bend my knees. It was like just a freaking RDL because it's like, I'm just not getting squatting that far.
We did do heavy RDLs yesterday morning, and I did like 500 for 5.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad. I haven't done them for a while. My entire body hurts now.
I bet.
And then we did lunges after that also.
Ugh.
Just body weight because I'm like fat, so I just did that.
Yeah.
Also terrible.
Lunges are terrible. Actually, the worst thing is, what is that? Where you put your foot up on the pad?
Oh, like a split squat?
The split squat.
The Bulgarian split squat?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. Never doing it again.
That probably wasn't even the Bulgarians. They probably stole it from somebody.
Probably.
It's probably the Egyptians.
Oh, that's how they built the pyramids? That's the secret?
Dude, those were some fucking gifted people. Okay.
the
do that.
Egyptian split squat is the secret to the pyramids.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's how they moved those 10,000 pound stones.
But you know what? On that, there's also this trend of these people doing the split squats with a safety squat bar holding onto the rack. Have you seen this? A lot of people are doing this. You see it in like athletes.
Why?
I don't know, because they're doing like 4 plates on a side of a safety squat bar.
And then they're holding onto a rack,
You're holding onto a rack.
pulling themselves up.
Well, obviously. Otherwise, just do it without the rack.
Yeah.
But
Right.
then I also think some people think that transfers them to like an 800-pound squat or something. And I'm like,
Probably 1,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
They should do it. Just load up the safety squat bar with 1,000 and let me see how that goes for you.
Let's make sure the straps
Right.
are on there.
But yeah, I've seen that trend with some strength and conditioning coaches, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but why not strip the weight down some and do without holding on and build the stability in your adductors and abductors
Right.
and actual strength.
Or belt
Yeah.
squat.
Yeah, belt squats are
So,
pretty
like,
terrible.
the Mike Israel, Dr. Mike had a video that he just put up. Wow, maybe it was a while ago, talking specifically about that movement and how most people do it wrong because like everything should be on like your rising leg, like your forward leg.
Oh,
All
yeah,
your weight's on
they're-
that. Like your back leg is just there as like a balance mechanism.
Like
Yeah,
kickstand.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be doing much of anything to help you get up out of the hole or
Well,
move.
and
Like
that's
it's just a balancer.
That's the same with lunges and step ups, or not lunge. But with step ups, you'll see people launch off the floor.
Yep.
And yeah, and with lunges because they'll push off that back leg. Your front leg should be doing all the work.
Yep.
That's why I'll have people just put their fingertips on a bar and do like no touch step ups. where they lower down until basically their foot just touches the floor, and then have to come back up. All that top leg does all the work.
Yeah.
The eccentric lowering like off of a box is so hard.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but it's way hard to come back up. But we did like the lunges the other day, and then I like still can't get off the floor hardly by myself. I don't understand what that's about. Like, still, you got to put your hands on your knee to stand up. Like, I don't know.
I'm at that point in my like training cycle where like everything's broken. Like 9 weeks in, my knees hurt, my sole hurts, like everything hurts.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't like it, if I go to get off this chair, like you're gonna see me. I'm just gonna take a second, and I'm gonna have to push off because my knees just don't want to be knees right now.
Yeah, I have to like warm up just to like play with my dog on the floor.
Fuck playing on the floor. I sit on the chair.
Yeah.
That's why my Rottweiler gets pet the most because I don't have to bend over.
Right. He's taller.
Yeah, he's taller. So my two pits will jump their paws up on the Rottweiler's back.
Yeah.
So I pet them. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not bending over, guys.
No,
Yeah,
Yurik's the only one I pet with my hands. All the others I pet with my feet.
Yeah, you're going to have to get up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got down last night and I was laying on the floor and I had my legs out straight. And I was like, oh man, my back is so sore from all those RDLs. I had to like put my feet, like bring my feet back closer to me. And then I was like, okay, now I can lay here.
See, you talk shit about all my masters competitions.
But I've
because-
never done a master's event.
Well, you're not even a master yet, are you?
I'm 41.
Are you 41?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I know. I look super young. I know.
Yeah, you do. It's that baby-
especially next to you.
you do. It's that fucking gingerness going on there.
Yeah, well, the
Got you
soul-
aging like a vampire.
The soullessness is what helps.
Yeah.
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 You
But yeah.
probably have some beauty routine that wife set up for you.
No.
Yeah.
I stay out of the sun and I wash my face.
Yeah, when you're asleep, Amber comes in and she puts a face peel on and like takes care of you.
I mean,
You get,
that's,
like,
I mean, that
all
is her
that shit
job.
done.
So I don't know. But yeah, deadlift. I don't know. I think we're not all that far from each other, really.
No, it's probably pretty close.
Yeah. Squat wise, I think
You.
probably me.
Yeah.
And that's not like saying a ton. I'm not like fucking talking myself up here.
I just fucking hate it.
Yeah, and Chris doesn't even really lift weights, so that's probably
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Chris is still last.
Well,
Yeah.
he still lasts. He probably has like
Yeah,
two,
in
he probably
points,
only
he
has
lost.
like
Yeah.
he probably has like 245s at his house. He's just reporting like overall
No.
tonnage.
He's got those plastic 25s, like those plastic ones that are filled with sand.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, that sounds about the right thing.
Or the fake CrossFit plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that Bradley Martin that did that where it looked like he was benching like 700 for like 12 or 15?
You know, they're all
Right.
10s.
Yeah, it was like at the Arnold or the Olympia or something like that. I feel like
Yeah, I
it
know
was
that
in
there was a lot of people that tried to bust him, like actually catch him using fake weights, like those aluminum weights.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone ever like caught him, but like the stuff he did when he was repping out like 600 pounds on bench for like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you can just
they're
look
like-
at those videos and you know what it looks like when someone walks out a big amount of weight on a squat. Like that bar is bouncing.
Right.
Right? Like if the bar doesn't move or bend at all, it's like, yeah, well, it's probably not real.
dude, he
Right.
benched like 600 like it was literally just the bar for like reps.
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't that-
it was still like even with those aluminum weights, I think it was still 4 something. So I mean,
Was it?
Yeah, because the aluminums like they're still like they're not nothing, but it's not 600 pounds.
What was that like? Chris Cuomo, wasn't he doing like the
100-pound.
100 pound?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
yeah, bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe if that was RFK. That guy's super jacked. I'd believe it if he was doing it.
Yeah. He's got that TRT going on.
Yeah, just TRT, I bet too. It's probably not anything else is going on. Anyway, good for him.
Dude, RFK is jacked.
Yeah, even if
Yeah.
he's taking all kinds of juice,
I
good
don't
for
give a
him.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, he's like fucking 80.
What Louis say? He's like, it was his 2016 interview with Rogan. He's
Yeah.
like, I've been doing anabolics for 40 years.
Yeah. He's
And I'm fine.
and I'm fine.
And he was like, oh, he's like, people would always dog it, but now their grandpas are taking it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Rogan's like, do you ever cycle off? He goes like, why
Why?
the fuck would I cycle off?
Why?
That whole interview, the entire time, Rogan is just like in complete shock and
Oh,
amazement.
God.
He's just like the whole
I
time
mean-
mouth open, like,
Yeah, he
what
must
is
have
happening?
like he must have known who Louis was, but not really known who Louis was.
Dude, if Rogan did that interview like today with
Oh, it'd be
the amount
so
of
much
people that
cooler.
listen,
Yeah.
that episode would have been canceled. Like within 5 minutes, Spotify would have been like, "No, we can talk about some shit."
yeah.
But Louis,
Right. Louis did everything but talk about milligrams.
yeah,
Yeah. I remember when I went out there and trained and he was talking about a guy he's training. I was like, oh, he's this he's a strong guy, you know. He got arrested, you know. You know what we do here. He got arrested for selling, and I was just like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's like, so he did some jail time, but he was strong.
He was strong, yeah. Well, I think people have the misconception, like people who aren't in like strength sports, that like, oh, you do testosterone, you do steroids, you do whatever, and you're just magically strong. Like that is not the case.
No, and it's also because, you know, we're going to talk about the Shot Classic, so this would be a great transition. It's like people who watch World's Strongest Man and stuff like that, and there's a very naive part of society. You know what I mean? That's like, oh, look how strong that guy is. He must train hard. There are other.
He does train very hard.
He does train very hard, but there are other factors in play. But they do work very hard.
Right. But I mean, those guys.
But
are
so when
still
they're like, "Oh
training
my
hard.
God, did you know that guy took steroids?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Do you think everyone else is pulling a fucking plane with their teeth?
Right, but then you also point to like the husky water puffed kid over here, and you're like, this kid also does steroids. So.
Yes.
Right.
So there's a difference.
Yeah, they work hard. There's some genetics that are at play there too, but they all train super hard. I could care less, especially in a sport like World's Strongest Man. It is not. If you are not using
it's the name of the fucking game.
Yeah, if you are not using it, you're the only one.
Yeah,
You're
dummy.
not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Like
you
if
really
you're trying to be world's strongest man, and you're not doing some extra stuff to get your ass in the right shape, you're not trying hard enough.
And I've always credited people that if you really wanted to be the best in the world, you're probably using. I mean, I don't care what sport it is. Lance Armstrong got busted.
Right. Lance Armstrong is the only one that's never failed a test.
Well, but here's the funny part. But the funny part on that was what they had to go down to like 8th place to find someone who wasn't doping.
Yeah. Wasn't it like 80th place?
Either way. So he rolled all those guys and they were doing the same drugs he was.
Well, yeah, that was there was a super awesome documentary. Icarus?
Oh, that's when the Russians got snuck underneath and changed the fucking...
Yeah, did you see that documentary?
I did not see that.
Oh, you got to check it out. So it starts off with this guy who's a cyclist, and he has that same thought. He's like, so how much do PEDs help in performance? And he was a pretty good amateur cyclist. So he talks to a bunch of docs and a bunch of like drug folks and like gets a regime built up specifically for cycling. And he does like the blood transfusions and PEDs and all this stuff to like see how much it improves him. So he does this, trains for like 6-8 months, something like that. Maybe it was longer. Goes and competes and still just gets crushed. Like he does a lot better, but he's still nowhere near like cracking that top. And that's what he really wanted to find out. But then it transitions to the guy he was working with to try to figure out like kind of how to beat the system, ends up connecting him to the main essentially drug fella for all the Russian athletes who helped all the Olympic folks. And like he's telling them how they made it through the system, and they found a way to like crack open the piss cups that were supposed to be tamper proof. Like they had teams of people figuring out how to open them up and get them sealed back so you couldn't tell, so that they could pass drug testing.
Dude, the
Olympics
Russians are so good at that shit.
And then it goes
centuries
on
of experience.
But then it goes on to like even further where something starts going down in Russia, and like now this guy's life's in jeopardy because they know that he is talking to someone about this, and like they're afraid that these like secrets are going to get out, and so now they're trying to like get it. It's fucking wild. But
I'm definitely gonna have to watch
it.
That.
All started because this guy wanted to do just that same reason. Like, okay, hey, I'm pretty good. If I take PEDs, I'm going to be great. No, you're not.
No, it is. Yeah, that is. There's no guarantee you're going to be good. You're probably not doing them correctly, for the most part. But it's funny that if you're in the gym scene for a long time, you're in strength sports, you're going to know about them. More than likely.
Yeah.
But 98% of the population is very naive. And I'm not saying everybody uses them, and I'm not saying it's cheating. But if you see someone who looks freakishly different than everyone else, strength, appearance, whatever, there's probably a pretty solid chance that they're using.
Like the 50% natty guy.
Yeah. And I don't. And I could care less.
Right, like as soon as you transition to what the sport would consider like a professional level, do whatever the fuck you want.
Hey, you're trying to be the best in the world.
Right.
If everyone has the capability of doing it, right? There are bodybuilding shows that are clean, and there are bodybuilding shows that are not. But if you're in whichever one you're in, you still have to perform up to that level.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the funny joke in powerlifting. Like there are drug tested federations, but there's no drug free federation.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I tell my USA. That's how I always tell the USAPL guys. It's drug tested, not drug free.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some freaky people out there.
Yeah.
I'm not ever going to discredit somebody either. But yeah,
But like when everyone was Liver King does steroids. Oh, I'm shocked. You think he was just eating fucking liver?
he is the
Right.
prime example of someone I was just saying, if they look like that, there's a 99% chance. And I mean, Joe Rogan talked about it, and he even called out The Rock. He's like, dude, it's fine. There's just no way that you're fucking not. Don't lie about it. If someone asks you, because most of these people probably were like, The Rock probably has a doctor prescribing it for him.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
He's not doing anything illegal. That dude's got prescriptions for TRT, whatever he's doing. He probably has prescriptions for 90% of what he's doing.
Everything. For everything.
And he's getting his blood work monitored. He's doing all that stuff.
Right.
But if someone just asks you, just fucking be honest.
Right. Like I can get behind being like, yes. You answer the question, yes, no, yes. And then when they're asking what, you're like, no. Because that's where you get the dumb kids who like hear, they might see what The Rock's doing, or they're going to see what any of the strongmen are doing. They're like, oh, well, that's what he's doing. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
Well, how long have they been training? Like, what are their receptors like? How do they react to it?
Well, and that's the other thing. And if you want to talk about it, like people probably shouldn't be doing any of that stuff until they're fully developed. Like get to your mid 20s.
Yeah, even into your 30s. You shouldn't even really.
Get to your 20s, your
Craziest
30s.
fucking shit.
Put the time in.
This friend of a friend, so this kid, I don't remember his name, he was 18 when we had this conversation. He was like feeling kind of tired and sluggish, went to the doc tested his juice, and he was at like 450, right? And he's like, oh, that's pretty low. I'm going to start you on some Clomid. And he's like, what? And so, yeah, he wrote him a script for 50 milligrams a day.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, especially for an 18-year-old. And then I started asking him. He's like, so I've got this script. I haven't taken it yet. And I was like, well, what were you doing before this test and stuff? And he was like being a kid, staying up late, eating like shit, drinking. I'm like, of course your testosterone's low.
And you're probably working on top of it.
Right, and you're working on top of
Yeah.
it and stuff. So like, and who knows what time of day it was? It was like the end of the day and you're just like crushed after the week, or like first thing, like Wednesday morning when things are going
Did you
well,
watch a
like,
bunch of rom-coms? Get all emotional over the weekend?
but the doc gave him this script and is just like, hey, here you go. And I'm like, I no, man.
And how
like,
old
just
was he again?
He was like 17, 18.
Yeah, just tell him like to not masturbate for 3 days. His test levels will probably just recharge.
Right. Well, he said he took it for a couple months, and then he called me and was like, man, I feel great. I'm like, well, I bet you do, man. But like, don't. Because the longer you're on that, like, the more likely you are having to be committed to doing something like that.
Well, what most kids and most people don't understand is as soon as you put something synthetic in your body, your natural production shuts down. Right.
Or slows, at least slows down.
It will, and depending on the length, it will just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so then you're completely dependent on it for the rest of your life.
Right.
Like, don't make a decision at 16, 17, 18 that's going to affect your life at 30
Yeah.
when you didn't understand the consequences from it. But if you get in your, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, and you're doing TRT or doing something to just try and fight, father time, like, get after
That's
it.
very different. But go to a doctor. You don't go to like a bathtub chemist.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well,
I mean, find a doctor that knows what they're doing. Like I started.
Most primary care physicians
Most
don't
primaries
understand
don't.
testosterone.
And like, the tough part is like very few of the men clinics really are going to like do what's best for you. They're like, oh, most people feel great at 1,600.
Yeah.
So unless you're over $1,000, like we're going to keep moving that up.
well, yeah,
Now,
it's like,
some
oh,
people-
you made it in the door. Oh, okay. Here's a prescription.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're under 1,300. Well, that's technically below the cap.
Technically, it's okay, but I bet you'd feel better.
I bet you feel better at this.
And that's kind of goes back to even last week in our last episode where we talked about
Yeah.
finding a doctor with your blood work and like, but go to someone who's like not just going to give you and tell you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? Like we talk about doctors who just
Yeah.
don't want to prescribe meds right away to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
go to someone who's actually like the doctor that I go to. I think you went to him. He was like, he's done some powerlifting. He's done strength sports. He gets it. He's not going to like he's the one that's like, hey, like your blood pressure is really high when you came in. I'm like, well, I get like white coat syndrome. He's like, okay. He's like, well, keep track of it. If it's still really high, let me know. Otherwise, he's like, next year, just let me know where you're at. He goes, I'm not going to put you on blood pressure medicine if like you don't really need it.
Are you scared of doctors?
Nah, but
It's
I think
having
what,
to stand up quickly.
I just think that whenever anybody goes to the doctor and who may be, on the morbidly obese scale on the body mass index, but you always think they're going to tell you something you don't want to hear.
Well, that's
They
one
should do your blood pressure at the end. You know what I mean? Be
Like
"God, you're
go
the-"
in and talk to you for a while, let you calm down, not having. Well, I mean that happens to like the old folks and a lot of people because I mean you stand up, you've been sitting on the waiting room for like half an hour, you stand up, you walk in, you sit down, and they take your blood pressure right away. Like it's
I think they're supposed to let you sit there for like 10, 15 minutes.
yeah, there's
Still, it's not enough. You know, the nurse has been in there like,
we got shit to do.
"Who is anybody in your family died recently of cancer?"
Yeah, I'm about to.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I like about my doctor. Whenever I go in there and he weighs me, he's like, how do you feel about it? Like, because he knows, like, my weight goes up and down for competitions, whatever I'm trying to do. He's like, do you feel good? He goes, I can't tell you.
That's a relative question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been with a man that's been with another man?
That's only if you're donating blood. Or the best is, have you been with a woman who's been with a man that sleeps with other men? I'm like, what the fuck are you asking me here?
Yeah, I didn't ask for
did I
like
have
a
a three-way on the way over here? I don't
Let me
know.
get out my logbook.
I didn't do a fucking 23andMe over here with her. Like, hey, give me your list. Yep, that dude
They
seems
asked
gay.
the
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
They ask the craziest questions when you're donating blood.
dude, I stopped going because I would go there.
Because you got tired of answering that question?
Well, yeah, I was like, yes, I told you before. Look at this asshole.
You do have a cute butthole. That was told to you by a
Right,
nurse.
Yeah, you got to have the right post-op care. But no, so I would go in there and they were like, you know, do you use anything like not prescribed by a doctor that comes in a needle kind of thing? Like, do you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And then some like manager guy would come in and be like, have you ever used PEDs? I'm like, no. Do you ever do anything that's been, you know, not prescribed by a doctor? I'm like, no. Are you sure? I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys this. Like, no.
I mean, that's kind of flattering. They're like,
Like
look
I'm
at you, dude.
right. It was the first time. The first time it was, but then like every time, and I
Were
have
you
the same
flexing?
people, and I'm like,
Were you like,
fucking.
no,
stop.
I don't do anything else?
No, this is not. Don't even work out.
Fine, I huffed a bunch of paint thinner on the
Yeah.
way here.
Yeah.
Just to calm down.
Yeah, so I just stopped going because I told them, I'm like, hey, if you guys ask me this one more time, like, you're not
I'm
getting
done.
my blood.
Yeah.
And I'm one of like the universal donors, and I can give double red.
Yeah.
And they're like, please don't go. I'm like, no, you guys shut the bed.
You need to get out
Baby,
my
come
business.
Yeah. I'm gonna do whatever I want, and you're still gonna want my blood.
Yeah, so that was a good transition.
How do we
into
get there?
Oh, Shaw Classic.
the Shaw Classic now?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the Shaw
Everything leads
Classic.
to drugs.
Yeah. The Shaw Classic. Respect for all those guys that competed, obviously.
Fuck yeah.
There's
Matt
some
and I-
strong dudes there.
Yeah, I mean, Ed
Dude.
was there. Ed was there. He's probably one of the
Yep.
strongest guys there.
Yep.
Like Matt and I were talking because, you know, Brian Shaw obviously competed and won. I don't know my thoughts on. I have never competed in a meet that I am hosting. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying it happens. But if I'm another competitor, I feel like there's always a chance of favoritism. Because it's your competition. But I know in strongman, it's like you're either going to get it or you don't.
Right.
Right.
But let's say it was down to, and I'm just throwing out popular names that people know. Let's say it gets down to Shaw and Eddie Hall on a deadlift. And if it's Shaw's lockout is questionable compared to Eddie's, but it's his competition, who do you think is going to get the deadlift?
Can I just throw something out there?
No.
Have you ever seen the lockout
I'm not talking about.
on a strongman?
I know.
They don't give a fuck.
I know,
Yeah,
but
you
If
gotta
it
get it
comes
7/8.
off the ground,
Yeah.
you can ratchet that thing
Oh,
up.
no, I
You
get
can
that.
Take a,
But you still have to lock it. You're supposed to lock it out.
Yeah.
I'm just using that as an example.
okay.
You just gotta get 3/4.
But let's just say it's close. Is
Okay.
there going to be some favoritism? Because you're the judge. You're probably getting paid by said competitor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does it draw attention to that?
I thought it was fine just because it was his last comp.
That's
It
why I
was-
think it makes
it was
it
a swan
okay.
song.
But
yeah.
the other thing I was gonna look up before this, if he had ever competed in his other events, which I don't think he has.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm not saying he cheated. I don't know, Brian. He seems like a nice dude. Ed always speaks very highly of him when we talk about it.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he would
Oh, well,
try to rig it. And
I don't think he would. I think you're more likely to have a judge kind of do something on their own. I don't
Than
think
him try to rig it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying he's
he would
asking,
Ever, I don't
but-
think he would ever do.
But yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. I'm not saying he's asking
No.
for it, but as another competitor, are you looking at it like, come on, man, like that judge is kind of working for you technically.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet you in that arena, they're like everyone knows Shaw. He's what 4-time world strongman.
Right.
One of
and
the
he's done a
greatest.
shitload for it. And
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
fucking loves
Yeah.
him.
And yeah, I said I personally would never do it.
that standing bench press, like the one you
The
have out
standing
here,
power. Yeah.
dude, that was when they're just dropping the kegs in. I was doing it out here the other day, and just like going from one plate, and I tried to get to 5. I couldn't even get 5 plates on each side.
No, it's.
But I could do 5 plates on each side if I just went in it. But just that right back
Yeah.
and forth, man, that's a freaking.
That was a
grinder.
weird to see that one because usually they don't have like
No.
any kind of like overhead. Sure, like they had the log press, but like the chest press was kind of like. Meh.
When are you gonna get the keg loader for the?
I personally kind of thought that event was stupid.
What?
A little bit, although super happy to see the
That's the
power
way
stairs.
strongman works. Is that they have to do things that are a little nuts.
Yeah, but I think it could have had a better event than
Yeah.
Like the rebar bending.
ripping phone
yeah.
books, ripping phone books in half like they
Sumo
used to.
wrestling, bring that shit back.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fucking great.
Or
Yeah.
even that that mass where they have the board between their feet and they have to pull the other one. What's that called?
Oh yeah, that Russian, yeah, the mass, yeah,
Mass,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and they have to pull the other guy over the board.
Oh yeah.
Well, they have to unseat them. So I found out you can actually just like roll them.
Oh,
So if you're grabbing and you roll and twist, and like their foot moves or slips, like that counts as a defeat.
I would rather watch that than power slap any fucking day of the week because whoever gets to go first is probably going to win.
The best in power slap is when someone's like out and they kind of come back and then they win. I'm like, they have no brain.
No,
Like there's nothing up there. Just like when was
Right.
it Tyson Fury when Wilder knocked him out and he was
Yeah.
like out, and he rose from like the freaking dead like the Undertaker in a WWE event.
Yeah, the best part about power slap is the slow motion of their face.
Dude.
do you see they have like a women's power slap thing?
Yeah.
where they slap their ass.
No, I've not seen that. No,
It's like-
do they still have to hold the
It's
pool?
like the
pool noodle?
lingerie football version of power slap.
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be like, hey babe,
Time to practice.
Time to start training.
ass slapping.
Training camp starts now.
Just walking around getting it.
She's gonna beat the shit out of me when she listens to this.
We this kid when we were in high school made a paddle. You remember like on Dazed and Confused,
Yeah.
those paddles.
Yeah. With the holes in it?
My buddy's little brother made one, so we took it from him and beat him with it, and then we just
Yeah.
kept it. But that thing would fucking hurt, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like he had drilled like speed holes in it, so he didn't get any
Oh,
wind
yeah.
resistance
Yeah.
on the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that was, but so the women's one was obviously like a joke.
I assume so.
Or if you hit them and they fall over,
No, I'm not sure.
Maybe
that just really opened up. I feel like that just really opened up spousal abuse.
It's all training.
We're training. It's like that Family Guy when the cops come in. No, she's not a prostitute. There's a camera. She's an actor. Yeah, just spousal abuse.
Yeah. I'm just practicing my ass smack, officer.
But I think the Shaw Classic, it looked like a packed event. Like he had a great turnout for it.
Yep.
And they put the freaking weights. I think what like Shaw got annoyed with was World Strongman turned into a rep competition in a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, and who wants to see certain times reps are fine, but I want to see like max lifts. Like we
Right.
talked about this before. You know, like is it cooler to see someone deadlift something 10 times or just once like super freaking
Right.
heavy? I want to see one super freaking heavy.
And power stairs. So happy to see that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, the
fucking
power
great.
stairs are impressive. But that's what I think a lot of people want to see. Like people do or try to put on strongman meets and they're trying to do all these crazy events. Just do some of the basic events. People like to see traditional classic strongman events.
18-inch deadlift for max weight.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, but like
With
like
a 24-foot bar.
like the log clean and press. You know what I mean? Like those are the traditional ones that people want to see. You know, I think
Yep.
if you overcomplicate it, people don't care because they don't understand it.
You know what's crazy about strongman is I went back and looked at some from the late 90s with like the log clean. The weight they're doing at the log clean back then, 20, 30 years ago is what amateurs are doing now.
Right.
And the pros have just they're making that weight. That's a freaking warm
Right.
up. Well, that was like that. It's just crazy how
Yeah.
strong. Because look
At sprinters. It's something like sprinters.
Yeah, but like FloJo,
it's-
I think it's FloJo still holds the 100-meter women's record. And that's been since the 80s or 90s.
I think the
can look it
strongman
up.
thing.
Oh, we don't have-
one of the things
we
I
don't
think
have
helped
Jamie here
strongman
today.
get those weights higher was
Drugs.
that and the events are more standardized now. Whereas like you go to
Yeah.
look at those old ones, like you almost always had Atlas stones because that was just super fucking cool,
Yeah.
right? You're like, all right, cool. And then you had some kind of yoke carry.
Yeah.
And then you had like a Conan's wheel or something like that you did. But then like when you have the rebar bending or you have arm wrestling or sumo wrestling and or like those medleys where you just have to like carry shit and load it up in a barrel. load it up in like a giant wheelbarrow and then
Yeah.
wheel it back down. Like you have these events that are just
Crazy.
tough to train for,
Yeah.
right? It's just, then that's where I think, not that like, I definitely think the competitors today are still like, if they went back and competed against the late 90 guys, they're just going to crush them because
Well-
overall they're just stronger.
Well,
But you can have
kinda.
more specified training now.
Yeah. Well, kind of, but like someone was asking about like I kind of hate the GOAT talk in anything because like is there someone stronger than Ed now? Maybe. I don't know. But do you know what never happens? If Ed doesn't ever hit that bar, no one ever chases it.
Well,
You
that's,
know what I
that's
mean?
like the
So-
5-minute mile.
Yeah.
Once they broke the barrier, then it just took off from there.
But like we benefit today from all the people who kicked ass in the past that are setting the bar.
Yeah.
Right. So now we have something to shoot for. We're just like when Raw or when the multiply were the only people that could do 1,000-pound squats. And now, fuck, there are a lot of, I mean, not a lot, but there's a handful of people who do 1,000-pound squats now. When it used to never like that was like the multiply bar.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but I think like we've talked in the past, like the advancement of strongman, I think accessibility to equipment.
You just here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the accessibility to
you
it.
have a wheelbarrow back here. We have all kinds of shit that like you couldn't find 30
Right.
years ago. You're not going to a gym.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of those guys were just like squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, and then go to the strongman and just like fucking hope for the best.
Yeah.
You know, and those guys were just monsters of their. And I think anabolics have changed things.
Yeah.
They were
also
doing
people
anabolics then.
like people are finding their sport earlier because there's more people doing it. Like strongman, powerlifting, a lot of these things are more accessible. So people who like Shaw started off in basketball, like that's what he went to college and like played basketball and stuff. But he was like, I really like the weight room. And so you have someone who's probably like genetically predisposed to be obviously great at it, and he finds the weight room at 20, 21, rather and starts training strongman rather than being like, okay, this is cool, and doing powerlifting until he's like late 20s, and then it's like, oh yeah, I want to try strongman. Now he's still strong, but he's behind the strongman training curve by 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
But now instead, like now he's starting early, and you see that in a lot of sports.
I picked up strongman at like 38.
Masters.
Masters. Well, because
Have you done an open competition?
yeah,
Okay.
How'd you
Yeah.
place?
third,
So why don't you just stay
Out
open?
of-
third, second, and first.
Why don't you
in
just
open.
stay in open instead of just cherry picking fucking Masters meets? Fucking pussy.
Okay, at nationals, I can't compete with.
Well, now with that attitude, you're never going to.
Fuck, those guys are goddamn. Here's the thing, like I'm good once. Like I'm not Toby Keith song. Like I'm good once. The problem is by the time you get to event 5, like when I'm with a bunch of old guys, like you old
Broken.
bastards, like we're all sitting there like. All right, we got one event left. These freaking young guys are bouncing around like they haven't even done anything yet. Screw that. I'm not doing
Maybe
that.
your conditioning is just bad.
Yeah.
Maybe. and
Yeah. Maybe you should just put some extra work into your training like you care.
Yeah, you obviously don't care enough.
Yeah.
I obviously don't.
Yeah, I don't see you walking around the building carrying a Husafeld stone to get in shape.
Yeah.
Do you want to have that competition?
Why would I carry it? I'm not trying to get in shape for strongman.
You're not trying to get in
How heavy is the empty shell?
100 pounds.
Is that what it is?
That's not bad.
Somebody left it here.
Really?
Yeah, it was a
Was
freebie.
it that big, like that guy that worked for the railroad?
No, not that guy. He had those big mats he brought
Those
in that one
big
time
rubber mats from the railroad?
that weighed so much. I put them out back, and then luckily somebody stole them, so I don't have to get rid of them.
Good for them.
Yeah, no.
Those things were fucking heavy.
I think it was a guy that used to own a strongman gym here in town. He brought it in,
Oh yeah,
and he like just left it here.
he was an odd dude.
Yeah,
He was a nice dude.
he's
but
super nice. But I think he
was an
actually
odd
had
dude.
some brain issues. Like I think he like had a stroke or had
Well,
something
He
happen to
carried
him.
around that like gallon jug of like yellow fluid, looked like he was drinking piss the whole time he was here.
Yeah, that's how you condition it. That's fucking
Or
special
country
ops stuff.
time lemonade.
He was a super nice guy, but yeah, he was
Yeah, I think he had like a stroke at some point.
maybe.
Way to talk shit about him. It's really nice, yeah.
I didn't. I said he was a nice
Jesus,
guy.
you are just the
I
worst.
said he was a nice guy.
Funny, talking about somebody competing in their own meet. So I did a raw meet, 100% raw meat. Like this is years back, and the guys who used to run it sold it to another guy, and so but they were still helping him. So me and one of my buddies were competing. We're sitting in like they had like a little like food area. They made like sandwiches and stuff. So we're sitting there, and the guy that's running it now comes back there to ask the guy that was previously ran it that was helping him out. And he goes, "And 100% raw is supposed to be, it's drug tested. It was at that time you couldn't wear knee
You could have a
sleeves.
belt, right?
Yeah, you could have a belt, and that was it." And he was like, we're sitting back there, and he comes back to talk to the guy's like, hey, I'm taking some stuff that might be in the gray area. Do you think I should test myself? And the guy who used to run it, we got to know pretty well. So he's just like, he doesn't care that we're back there. And he goes, will you shut the fuck up? He's like, you don't talk about this. He's like, first of all, no. And he's like, because you were running it. And he's like, and he wasn't going to win anyway. He was just like, but he's like, no. And he's like, and don't fucking talk about it when other people are sitting here.
You dipshit.
I was like, God, what a fucking idiot. I'm taking some stuff that might be in the gray area.
What is it? Trend.
Those were like the
From
great,
legalsteroids.com.
like the meet in Dubuque is always great. Like you show up Saturday or when it starts
yeah, I know
Saturday
you're going.
morning, and there's 2 sharp containers in the bathroom on the wall, and they're completely empty. And then by the end of the day, they're just overflowing with little like 27, 28 gauge needles.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
I remember being in the bathroom in there, and this dude just like talking to his buddy. He's like, dude, my pee is so crazy looking. I just shot up like 20 minutes ago. And I'm like, dude, you don't know who any of these people are. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't just like openly fucking talk
They
about it.
do not care.
No,
Yeah.
like they're walking
They
around
do
in the
not
warm up
care.
room, and everyone's just fucking holding a handful of pills, waiting for deadlift. I'm like, this is what it is. This is what it's about. This is great.
I remember going traveling with a couple guys to do it with me, and they were like, hey, hold this for me. And I was like, what is it like? Just hold it for me, and I'll tell you when I need it. And I was like,
Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll just put this right here.
Cool.
My little fanny.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then they brought that first year I went out at the Arnold. They still had the pilots meet at the fairgrounds, the multiply meet, and they brought the sheriff comes through with drug sniffing dogs.
Just sweat everywhere.
Oh my God, they were all just like dying. I was like, dude, he's just looking for probably fucking pot.
Yeah.
Like that dog is not sniffing fucking just because if he smelled Trent, he'd probably just fucking pass out.
Doug.
Well, I think the only thing they really care about, like at the World Strongman, is like just don't do cocaine.
Yeah,
Right?
because
we just
I like how it's
don't
drug
make it-
tested, but it's like
Yeah.
street drugs.
Yeah, they just don't want. Basically, you're doing an EKG and making sure there's nothing that's going to blow your heart up.
Right.
They don't want to see heart explosions on the platform.
Right.
Yeah, they just
do
don't want anybody
not
to die.
care.
We don't need a bunch
Yeah.
of bleeding pinpricks on your shoulder,
No,
so keep
but-
that shit under control.
But your nose is bleeding because of whatever, or whatever. We're fine. Yeah,
It's dry here.
You shot up outside, no big deal.
Yeah, it's
Do you
fine.
remember, we don't need to
Just
say
no
his name,
cocaine.
but that dude that used to take his dad's blood pressure medicine so
Yeah.
he could take more steroids. And that guy was like bleeding from his pores. But he was, at that time, was like one of the greatest.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
But yeah, taking his dad's blood pressure medicine so he could take more fucking steroids.
Hey, Dad. I need.
Right.
Well, no, his dad was also involved in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Why does the Shaw Classic keep leading back to tons of drug use talk?
that's like a
Tomato,
gateway. We did have another question, I guess, and we've talked about it before. It was like, what's one of the greatest lessons you've learned in the gym that's like carried to life?
Drugs help.
There's that. Okay. For the
We're gonna
PG,
have to-
for the
we're-
PG one out there with the kids.
I was going to say we're going to have to put like MA on this podcast.
Oh no, they're all explicit. It says not safe for kids on all of them.
Perfect. So my 11-year-old wants to listen. So I had it on. You were talking about like your emergency shit.
Which one?
The one when you're in South Dakota at Burger King.
Oh, that
You
was
were talking about that, and you said "fuck" about like every other word, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna have to skip this one. He thinks we're all famous, so he just wants to listen to us.
that deserved that many fucks because that was like a super emergency situation. But yeah, like I know we've talked about the life lessons thing, and I don't know. I think gym wise, I think patience is a huge one because it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. And a lot of good things in life take time, whether, if you're working towards any kind of goal, whether it's in the gym or business or just life in general, like you're saving for something. I mean, it does take time
Lots of time
to build the physiques like we have.
This shit doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it is a lot of dedication in McDonald's.
Right?
I think another one is, I think you'll learn a lot about loyalty. Like real loyalty, not like some fucking Instagrammer talking about some kind of loyalty to somebody until they stop paying him and they doesn't talk about it anymore.
Right.
I mean, like real loyalty, and you'll learn that in the gym. People who will show up for you, that you also show up for you, who are your real friends. You kind of decide who your gym friends are and who your real friends are. And there's nothing wrong with having both.
Dude, absolutely.
But you find out a lot about like loyalty, who will always kind of be there if you need something inside, outside the gym, whatever it is. I think that's another big one. And you'll learn that in business too.
And I also think you get what you earn in the gym. Like there's no handouts. I can't take 10 pounds off your squat. I couldn't borrow 20 pounds off your bench for my bench. It would have helped. I wouldn't have been buried. Brett wouldn't have been talking shit and sent me. Him and Mike had timers
every hour, right?
Yeah,
On the
every
hour.
Every hour on the hour. I got a fucking
I remember that 'cause we were
meme or
here.
a
Yeah,
GIF.
we were here playing Golden Tee, and like it was like bing, 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 bing. Oh shit, we got to send him a picture. And then they would
Yeah,
send it.
Mike had a timer going.
Yeah, but I can't just take 20 of your
Right.
pounds, right? So I just think you earn whatever you get in the gym. And it's setbacks. I mean, how many times have you been hurt or you've been hurt, or you're going through? This last week was just shit. Like I was here, but like nothing felt good. I couldn't, like nothing felt the way, like I didn't feel like I was winning. I just felt like I was beating myself up all week. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Like
And
not,
I tell people all the time, not every day is awesome. Not
No.
every day in the gym is going to be, training wise, isn't going to be awesome.
no.
But you just keep going.
Yep.
I mean, it's persistence, patience, and I think, like I said, loyalty.
Well, because then, in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, at some point in time, I'm going to have one of those weeks where everything just feels great.
Right.
Like you're hitting everything you want to hit. All the movements feel good. Like that's what you're waiting for. But that's the same thing with life. Like life isn't freaking rosy all the time. But I think,
No.
but I think that you can tell the difference that in society, those who go to the gym and those who don't. Right? Just the way they like you have to grind in the gym.
Yeah, you'll learn a lot about work ethic.
Yep.
Which we went down to the Iowa State Fair last weekend, and we were walking through the animal barns, and they have all the 4-H kids in there, and I told it, and these kids are in there, they got the little shaver trimmers out, like trimming like the legs on their calves they're going to show, and they're brushing the sheep, and they're
I shave my calves too.
Yeah, you do for speed, obviously. You don't want to, but these kids are in there. The families come in, they set up little camps around like their stalls, and these kids are in there. They're fucking sleeping in there, taking care of their animals. And Amber and I walking through, and I was like, I bet you 99% of these kids will contribute to society and probably not be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because they're taking care of these animals. They've been here for probably all 10 days of the fair, whatever it is, taking care of their animals, feeding them. They're fucking sleeping in here, brushing them, taking over, showing them. And then they do that same shit at home.
They have to.
And I think that I would bet that 99% of those kids will be decent fucking humans,
Yep.
which is in society right now is something big because there's a lot of shitbag people out there that should do something with their life.
Well, everything's so instant, right? Everyone wants instant gratification because they see Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and it's just everyone's highlight reel. Like,
You don't see the lowlights.
yeah, you don't. I mean, no one posts like, oh, trained like shit today.
Yeah, I would have
shitty training day, tore my pec.
yeah.
I would have
This is
respect
cool.
for someone showing their failures.
Yeah.
I would rather see a failure video than an accomplishment video sometimes.
Actually, Steve, my business partner, he posts his failure videos. Like, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I was supposed to do today, and this is what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if you blow like both your knees out, I'll watch it, but a lot of people won't.
Fuck that. Ain't watching that shit.
I'll watch it without sound.
Oh, really? I think the yelling is the best part of the.
I don't mind the yelling.
Oh.
It's like when you hear, like having blown them, like when you hear the tendon snap, like that
Did you
is
say, like, blown them or blown him?
yes.
That's how it happened.
Both of those sounds are very distinct.
Yeah, that's how it happened. He was trying to get down on his knees, and they both went.
That's why I don't do either anymore. Just
The return on investment wasn't
yeah, it
good.
wasn't. I mean, he's still paid, but not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it at all.
But that's what I would get out of probably what I've learned. What about you, Matt? You got anything?
I would say, and I thought about it since the last kind of when we talked about the similar topic, and it's the training and being physically active and having something to train for is like the balance or like the stabilizer in my life. If I don't have that going on, then like I am lost sounds very, very dramatic, but like my work isn't as good. Like life in general just isn't as good. I don't feel
Next thing you know, you're drunk driving a 4-wheeler.
Next thing you know, you're fucking drunk going, I don't know how fast. Fast enough to roll a 4-wheeler on myself. But like I time traveled. I remember being halfway up the driveway and then I was inside and I hurt real bad.
Yeah.
And I looked outside and my 4-wheeler was on its side and kind of was like, oh yeah, connect the dots.
me and a couple buddies were just, shotgunning beers, doing dumb shit. This was like probably 20 years ago. He had his 4-wheeler out, so I took it, freaking went down, freaking gunned it. The thing was straight up and down, like on the street. And all of a sudden I just disappear from view because I went behind the house and they come running around, freaking bent the shit out of it. I'm like, I'm good. Hop up, you don't want to be.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, real friend. Remind me.
Right.
Don't let Tanner drive anything.
Right.
Yeah, if I've been shotgunning beers, I'll do some dumb shit.
Yeah, same. But I'd say that's it. Like it's the normalizer. Like it gives me like a very consistent thing because you have to put in to get anything back. Like you can't just show up. Like I can show up to work and kind of mail it in and still make progress. You can't do that in the gym. You can't do that if you're training. And if I'm not training, but I'm at work and I'm like super into a project and I'm making a ton of headway on it and just crushing it, it doesn't have that same kind of carryover into the rest of my life as it does if I'm in the gym, whatever it is, like trying to get bigger, trying to get stronger, trying to get leaner, whatever it is. But that physical component of training is that stabilizing piece of my life that makes everything else that much better.
Well, I think it's because it's what we're designed to do. Like we're designed to do physical labor. Like we're designed to push our bodies. Like that's what we're designed to do. And most people just sit on their ass too much. I think that's why a lot of men are just fucking miserable because they don't get out there. They don't get out there and they don't do physical stuff. That's what we were like for the last 300,000 or whatever years. It's what we've been doing. And only recently do we sit on our ass.
And I think to keep going with it, like we were talking about last week, as you get older, just keep going.
Right. Just keep moving.
I haven't missed more than a week of training in almost 20 years.
And that's all the stronger you are.
I know, right?
Jesus. I missed a ton.
You should. If you haven't thought about giving up, you're doing pretty good.
Have you thought about speed walking?
Yeah. Or prancercising. Right. Again, if you're out there and you have not watched a prancercising video, it will be the fucking highlight of your day. You have to go watch it.
The world record speed walking mile is just over 5 minutes.
That's running. That's not fucking power walking.
Oh no, it's not mall walk.
No.
You got to get that like
it's
boom,
walking
boom, boom,
because at
hit.
no point in time are both feet off the ground.
Do they have to wear white New Balances?
Hopefully.
You have to wear a New Balance for sure.
Should it be the white one that looks like the vinyl with the blue N on it?
Yeah.
The dad shoes?
The total dad shoes. So I have a friend of mine. He's in his mid 60s and he does Ironmans, and he walks. He can't run anymore because of his knees and hips, but he walks the marathon portion of it, and he passes people.
Yeah.
Because he's got that little mall walk butt waddle going on, just freaking cruising around.
Dude, it helps a lot. Like we did for the fire department, we wanted to go through. There's a group of us that wanted to get our federal red card, which is just some like wildland certification. But in order to do it, you have to do the arduous physical test, which is 3 miles in 45 minutes with a 40-pound pack or vest or something. But it can't be a run. It has to be a walk, which is a super awkward fast walk. Like it's that transition speed where like you're just slowing down or you're just speeding up.
Yeah.
But so I was getting ready for it and I'm like, well, I am super fat. This is going to be really hard. So I was watching like speed walking tutorials and like put that in there. And that shit helps.
Did you wear your walking underwear? You have to have the right length of underwear for that.
No, but like, and thank God no one got a video of it, but like I'm coming around the straightaway, so I've got the wind at my back, and I'm like doing the super shuffle, like the hip move and stuff, and you can haul ass.
There has to be a video on that. Someone has to.
The Fort Calhoun High School security probably has it somewhere.
We definitely need that video.
But the shit works.
Oh, yeah.
I've never power walked, but
I
know like I've learned that lesson over the years in the gym is that the more size you gain, you need specific underwear lengths if you're going to walk a lot or you chafe a lot.
Yes.
Yes. I learned that in Vegas in the heat.
Yep.
You need to have walking underwear if you don't.
Yep.
I think it's like a 6-inch inseam at minimum.
Minimum.
If you go 3, but then 9, I feel like it also starts to slide
have
down.
like a certain compression because if they're too loose, then they work their way up, and if they're too tight, then your feet go numb.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's walking underwear is also very crucial in life. So be ready for that if you're trying to get the gains going.
Right. Something you got to consider about when you're like a top tier athlete.
Yeah. People think we just sit around and fucking do podcasts. This is research every day.
Pushing the physical
Once again,
limit.
this shit didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, we sacrifice our own body to bring this information to you guys. And, with that, we do appreciate you guys listening. Keep listening. And again, we said in the beginning, but, follow us, subscribe, set up notifications. Like I said, we're going to do that giveaway. Screenshot you listening to the podcast. I don't want to see it at 0. I want to see it being played. Screenshot it, tag.
So at least move the little.
Yeah, at least move the fucking cursor over.
Right.
Screenshot it, tag us on Instagram, Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. Tag a friend. We'll give out a couple of shirts. And, but yeah, just even if you don't like us, like Andy Frisella says, don't be a hoe, share the show. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Sponsored by Omaha Barbell as always. I guess even Elite Nutrition's involved in this at this point. So go check them out. Elite Nutrition, Omaha.com.
Yep.
Or Omaha Barbell, just OBGYM.com. And then, then Matt's here too. So, but
Sponsored by Matt.
yeah. But we appreciate you guys for listening. Thanks. We'll see you next time.